Señor Presidente,
Mr. President, Secretary General, distinguished heads of state and heads of government, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to be here for the very first time representing the Argentine Republic before this General Assembly. We are living in a time of great global transformations where changes are taking place at an increasingly rapid pace and is offering us new opportunities. The 21st century has placed us before an ongoing challenge, that of adapting to the new realities of global interdependence. The building of a modern international order is a constant task in which we are all protagonists. The principles of this organization guide us to promote dialogue and cooperation between our countries in order to achieve development, peace, and international security. In these 71 years of existence for the United Nations, we have seen important strides, but there is still much that is left to be done. The United Nations has proposed a horizon towards which we must move. Agenda 2030 is a path which we must all travel together. I'm very proud to represent a country which has contributed to the international legal framework, promoting progress in human rights, humanitarian law, as well as peaceful conflict resolution. We look at the Sustainable Development Goals, and we are proud of the fact that our government priorities are in line with those of international society. In Argentina, we have set three main goals for ourselves. The first goal is to move towards zero poverty. This is, in other words, creating a country with equal opportunities, where our children can be protagonists of their own future, and where every Argentine can develop his or her potential. A country such as ours, which is a major food producer, cannot allow people to experience hunger anywhere. The second goal is to defeat drug trafficking. The global drug problem, addiction, and violence associated with organized crime means that we must work together on a comprehensive agenda based on human rights and focused both on supply as well as demand. The third goal is to bring Argentinians together through dialogue, respect for the law, as well as the strengthening of democracy. Because in the 21st century, the quality of political leadership is measured by the ability to build bridges and to create trust. These are elements that every society needs to be able to function properly. Argentinians have chosen this path, that of trusting each other, that of dialogue, and speaking with truth. An important step in this direction was working on the problems of the past to be able to look towards the future. We standardized our macroeconomy. We began by strengthening our relationships with our neighbors, and we are establishing mature links with other countries as well as with multilateral organizations. And we are starting to see the results. We have returned to international credit markets, and many corporations have shown that they have faith in Argentina. Every day there is more and more investment, which will lead to jobs and will place the country on the path to expanding our economy. Argentinians are ready to enter the 21st century and to assume our role in international society. But we cannot achieve any of these goals alone. We have to work together, starting with our neighbors. I come from a region that sees itself as a common neighborhood with shared challenges. In recent years, Latin America has made great efforts to reduce poverty thanks to robust social policies and to very favorable international economic conditions. But today, the situation is different. All of our countries have seen a decline in our growth, and global trade has weakened as well. Regionally, the trade balance is less positive, and inflation is punishing those that have the least. But in Argentina, we are optimistic. We know that to grow with inclusion, Latin America has great human talent besides unequaled natural wealth. While in the world there are trends that generate concern and uncertainty, from our region we have encouraging news, such as the normalization of relations between Cuba and the United States, as well as the peace-building process in Colombia. Furthermore, we are seeing the conditions as well to establish a peace corridor from the Atlantic to the Pacific in the entire region, which will contribute to regional stability and prosperity. But the challenges of global governance in the 21st century are not exclusive to a few countries or regions. They concern all of us. We must cooperate, think globally, and act locally, but without losing sight of the first principle of this organization, which is based on the sovereign equality of all of its members. A world with more voices is a world which is more just. But that's why it's important that we continue to build a system which is based on clear rules, which reflect diversity and plurality, and which facilitates consensus. Climate change is the largest challenge facing humankind. And it's only being aware of this that we can make progress without jeopardizing our future and the future of the next generation. In Argentina, we are betting ambitiously on renewable energy to develop our potential in areas such as solar, wind, and biomass generation. We signed the Paris Agreement, and we are proud of being one of the first countries to complete the ratification process. And that is why we call upon the international society to make its greatest efforts so that soon we can see the entry into force of this agreement, which is so important for our future. Another major challenge is that of refugees. Though a year ago we made a commitment to not leave anyone behind, today the images that we see pain us and concern us. Reality calls for us to do more. Our peacekeepers are widely recognized for their commitment in humanitarian matters, and that is why last May Argentina was present in the Syrian conflict zone, offering assistance in a refugee camp in Lebanon. And I'd like to announce that we are going to accept even more refugees from Syria and from its neighboring countries, favoring families with children. We have established a national cabinet of ministers in charge of broadening the existing humanitarian program, which coordinates ministries and government departments and addresses security measures as well as full social integration. We can gradually increase our ability to receive more people insofar as financial support, technical assistance, and international logistical support would allow. Gender equity is another preeminent goal that we have, and upon which we work with conviction as well as political determination. Argentina is assuming the full empowerment of women as a state policy. We have established the National Action Plan for Prevention and Assistance to Women at Risk to put an end to violence against women in all of its forms. We are working with a cross-cutting approach so that women will have the same opportunities as men when it comes to the political, social, economic, and cultural life of the country. In this respect, we are grateful, and I thank you for the support that our foreign minister has received for the Secretariat of the United Nations. In the 21st century, having a woman would be a very encouraging example. When the organization was founded, countries assumed the commitment of maintaining international peace and security. However, we live in a world which is increasingly violent, where radical extremism threatens innocent people and vulnerable populations. Remember that in 1992 and in 1994, Argentina was a victim of international terrorism, with 2 attacks for which we hope to receive more international cooperation to be able to clarify events and to punish those responsible. My country condemns any group which, through its action, aims to promote terror in any part of the planet. In recent years, this phenomenon has worsened, and to stop it, international cooperation has become crucial. And that is why we have to promote development both inside and outside of our countries, because development does not stop at the border. Growth with inclusion, dialogue, tolerance, the creation of opportunities, reduces marginalization and humiliation, which fuels the recruitment of terrorists. Dialogue and the peaceful settlement of disputes is the cornerstone of the foreign policy of a democratic Argentina. And that is why I reiterate our call for dialogue with the United Kingdom, as has been instructed in many resolutions of this organization, to resolve on an amicable basis the sovereignty dispute that we've had for almost 2 centuries over the Malvina Islands, the South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands, as well as the surrounding maritime area. We have given signs of interest in making progress in our bilateral relationship, which could and should be mutually beneficial. And that is why we trust that it will be possible to activate these negotiations and to find a definitive solution to this protracted dispute. I'd like to conclude, Mr. President, with a final thought. Argentina, which has just celebrated its 200 years of independence, is a country which has always opened its doors to men and women around the world who were seeking and have sought a better life. There's a part of the world in every corner of my country. Christians, Jews, and Muslims live together peacefully. We are a society that is enriched by diversity. We are an open society. In a world which tends to more and more fragmentation, let us tell people that they don't have to fear interdependence. We are together in this common house that we have to take care of and where we have to live in peace, as Pope Francis tells us to do. Working together strengthens us. Let us continue to build networks and to lay bridges. You can count on Argentina. We have a lot to say and a lot to do. And allow me to thank you, Secretary General, for your work at the helm of this organization. Your legacy will have very important challenges to which we must continue to devote our efforts. For years, the United Nations has shown us the importance of pursuing a vision for a better world. It is time to contribute with all of our creativity and all of our political will to make this a reality. Thank you very much.